Greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Dale Barzi, and as always, if you like what you see and hear, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey. Today, I have the very great pleasure of welcoming Joy Abu out of Canada, Alberta, Canada. Joy has been a nurse for greater than 26 years, and she's worked in many specialties, also med-surg, oncology, pediatrics, geriatrics, and now she's into mental health and developmental disabilities and psychiatric emergency services. So, welcome, Joy.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure to have you, my absolute pleasure to have you. But first of all, I want to know, why are you a nurse? What brought you here?
It's really funny because I never thought of being a nurse in my life, but there is nothing in my bloodline. My mom is currently retired. She practiced over 35 years before she retired. She wanted me to be a nurse. She was quite desperate. I didn't want to, but she insisted. And then I ended up here and I'm loving it. I believe it's one of the best things that have happened to my life.
Exactly, exactly. And so your mom wanted to share what she enjoyed.
That's correct. She's so proud of nursing.
Yeah, it is something to be proud of. It is not easy, but it is something to be proud of because you make a difference in so many people's lives. And the difference is exponential. You don't even know how big, how vast that can be.
I
But
totally agree.
yeah, but you didn't want to. And so, it was like kicking and screaming. You went into this profession. What challenged you the most?
Well, in nursing profession, I've had a very good career so far, but the biggest challenge I've had in my entire career will be transitioning my nursing license and registration from Nigeria, where is my home country, to Alberta in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The process they put in place, it was very stringent. I mean, extremely, because starting with the evaluation process, Canada hired it out to CGFNS, which is
Mm-hmm.
CGFNS, they are
Yes,
in
yes.
Philadelphia, and they created a Canadian version. They called it the National Nursing Assessment Services, NNAS.
Mm-hmm.
That thing didn't work because it was so full of barriers. They kept tossing somebody back and forth, spent a lot of money. And what made it very difficult was because I've practiced before I came to Canada, two countries, two continents, which was my country, Nigeria, 5 years, and then 10 years in Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. So every single place you worked, they want this document completed. And then I had to send everything by DHL or FedEx, which costed me a lot of money for purposes
Mm-hmm.
of tracking. And
Yeah.
if there is any blank that is not completed, the document will be rejected. And I
Mm-hmm.
have to do it all over again. That was
Yeah.
one part of it. And the other part of it was the English language proficiency. Nigeria is a country that speaks only English as an official language and a language of education in the whole entire country because we have over 500 indigenous languages. So the only medium we communicate is English. Yet Nigerians are being subjected to English language proficiency. And they set the bar so high to the extent that even native English speakers cannot survive those examinations. But immigrants are subjected. I took it multiple times. I'm not ashamed of telling you because
Yeah.
the standard they were looking for was way much more higher than what the doctors and the pharmacists were requiring of their internationally trained professionals.
Mm.
So this barrier, and outside that, my school back home in Nigeria, each time they write to them seeking a feedback, No one was responding to them either, which was another problem.
Yeah.
Finances was a problem because this is a new immigrant who has
Mm-hmm.
no job. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yes,
I have
yes.
3 daughters. I needed to put food on the table, and I'm dealing with this registration thing. After the whole evaluation was over, I had to actually go to a lawyer at some point to sue NNAS in the United States. So my lawyer confronted them twice. That was
Mm.
when they opened up to say that they're seeking some feedback from my school in Nigeria, but no one responded. But no
Ah.
one told me. They say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we don't want you to interfere in the process. I said the way the things work in developing country is different from the way things work in developed countries.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
people are not responding to you, whose progress is at stake? It's me.
Yeah.
So you
Yes. Yeah.
speak to me. I'm not going to interfere in the process, but I'm going to help you so that you can help me get things
Yeah.
processed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when that phase was over, we went to another big barrier, which was the bridging to Canadian nursing. Having evaluated my credentials, it was stated that I needed to take more courses in order to measure up with the standard of the Canadian nursing education. Fair enough. I'm ready to take the course. Provide me the opportunity. I applied
Mm-hmm.
6 times in 3 years and never before I got into the program because they were selling application forms to over 700 candidates, whereas they only had seats for 30 candidates. Isn't that a
Ooh.
ripoff?
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And you had to pay for each application form.
Yes. Each time you apply, you pay $200 for $100 for each one. So each application is for two, winter and fall.
Wow.
Winter and fall before I
Yeah.
got in.
Wow. 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 That's a hill to climb. That's a hill to climb.
Yeah.
So now you are working in psychiatric emergency services. With all the experience you've very varied. Why psychiatric emergency services?
Well, I'm a very curious person. If you look at all the specialties I have tried,
Yeah.
I want to gain as much knowledge as possible. This is going to help transition me from the bedside into my next phase of career, which is entrepreneurship. And my entrepreneurial plan covers a lot of things. And part of it is going to be doing mentorship, consulting, helping
Yeah.
people to set up their businesses and also starting my own business. So I'm already in the process, want to have a supportive living to support people with developmental disability. I registered this company over 4 years already. I'm even planning to go out and do my, is it tax returns today?
Mhm.
Part of it also, I'm building AI agents. I build a mental health app also for monitoring mental health patients remotely. So I'm acquiring as much knowledge of AI, artificial intelligence, everything that is going to help me be successful in my next phase of career.
Awesome, 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 awesome. And that's cool. And that's the thing actually about nursing. One of the things you mentioned, you said when I asked you the question, you talk about being curious. And I have always maintained that you cannot be a good nurse if you're not curious.
That's right. I
Right?
agree.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. So having been a nurse though, or in all of these areas, in all of these countries, in these different areas, what do you see as the well, what's one thing you would think of as being universal to all of these areas that you think you'd like to see change? That's common, I should have said, to all of these areas.
Well, what I see that is common in all these countries is the underrepresentation of nursing in policy making.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these countries have a lot of, potential, especially in the Middle East, they have a lot of great facilities. And I've seen that here in Canada, but we need more nurses in policy making and decision making. We don't want people who have no clue of the bedside telling us what to do at the bedside. That has to change.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what's happening, and that's what has been happening for the longest while. And as you say, we have to be the ones to make that change, though.
That's right.
No one's going to just decide, okay, well, we need to change it. You come on, no, that's not how it's going to work. We have got
Yeah.
to be the ones to step up and make that change. Yeah,
And that's why nurses are talking here now.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's why we're talking now. That's why we're talking now. When you look ahead, Joy, what do you think you see nursing looking like? You talked about entrepreneurship and creating systems and AI and all of this, and this technology is into healthcare like crazy. What do you think you see nursing looking like in about 10 years or so?
Nothing in the next 10 years will be very unpredictable because with the introduction of artificial intelligence, we don't know where we are going. So the artificial intelligence is just like a wildfire. It's kind of going so crazy. Waking up this morning, I don't know what has changed in AI because I haven't listened to the news yet. But
Mhm.
nursing will be very much advanced in the next 10 years with technology. So nurses have to wake up. A lot of
Yes.
nurses have to wake up and embrace knowledge, embrace technology, embrace improving their career. Because nurses keep saying, oh, AI cannot take my job. Yes, AI will not take your job, but nurses who know AI, they will take your job.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Because really, I think that we are, you mentioned our complacency in thinking that nursing cannot, AI cannot take our jobs. Yes. And to a point, that's true. But as you mentioned, nurses who are proficient with AI will be the ones who will advance, who will make the decisions, who will take the jobs. And I see it. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when it was easy to repair your own car, you know. I've been, I can do basic mechanics, let's put it that way. It was easy to repair your own car. Here we are in this 2026, I wouldn't know where to start. And that's because of all the technology that has evolved in that. And I see nursing and AI, the advancements in exactly the same way. Things that we thought we knew how to do and were easy to do, that we could do with our hands, are going to be kind of out of your reach if you don't keep up.
That is correct. Like where here I work in Alberta Health Services, they have provided us a couple of AI tools to use. I wrote about one of it, which is the Dragon Medical. It's for
Mm.
dictation. I have all the Dragon apps installed on my phone, and since I'm not very good on the keyboard, I use this Dragon Medical Speak to test and it helps me. And a lot of my colleagues have no clue about, like, why are you speaking to your phone? Who gave you that? How did you get it? I said, this is provided by the hospital. And like, really? Are you kidding me? How come we don't know about this? Because you don't want to know.
That's it. That's it. We have to put ourselves out there. And that has always been life. You have to put yourself out there. Yeah. What advice, Joy? Again, you have so much experience. If someone wanted to be a nurse and asked your advice, what would you tell them?
Well, I'm going to ask them to reflect on what is the reason why they want to be a nurse, because there are so many myths out there saying, oh, nursing is a good profession because you make a lot of money. If money is your reason why you want to get into nursing, you will be disappointed So I want to tell them that nursing is a noble profession. It is a calling. It's about helping people. Yes, you're going to make the money, there is no doubt. But nursing is beyond paycheck. It's services to humanity. That is the most gratifying part of it. When you touch somebody's life on daily basis and they thank you in their most vulnerable time and they say, God bless you. You are such a wonderful nurse. You make a whole lot of difference in my life. That is gratifying. So people must consider the reason why they want to go into nursing. Nursing is not about money. Yes, the money is there, but that's not the primary purpose.
Yeah, yeah, the money is there. And money is a consideration because after all, we have to eat. We have to, everybody wants a good life. But as you say,
I
it
agree.
it it is hard. It is hard. I don't sugarcoat it at all. It is hard. And so that why of financial reward cannot sustain you.
That's right. And looking at the wages they are paying us, I believe that we are underpaid.
Always.
Because if I become an AI consultant now, I'm going to be getting paid money that I make in one shift for 1 hour of AI consultation. So if money is the whole thing, then we shouldn't be nursing. There are
Yes.
pilots who are way paid much better. When I do 8 hour shift, it's enough for a pilot to fly to New Zealand and get paid thousands of dollars that I don't even know about.
Mhm.
So yeah, but nothing for you to make a lot of money in nursing, you have to pick extra shift, lot of long shifts, and then you get burnout. So that's yeah,
So you just mentioned burnout, and we've been talking a lot about that recently because I think for a long time we just accepted that kind of thing as our portion. We have to work longer shifts, we have to take the abuse, we have to, and we're stopping. I'm seeing that we're stopping that. So we talk a lot now about caring for ourselves and things like that. So I want to know, what does self-care mean to you, and what do you do to take care of you?
well, self-care means a lot. Create the balance. I'm actually not even the best person to ask about self-care right now because I'm also a culprit of not having a good work-life balance. But I strive. Every opportunity that I have, I'm not working. I like to hang out with my family. I like to cook for my family. We don't eat out, we cook. And then I like to kind of a socialite. I have a lot of organizations I belong to. I go to church. I go to the many multiple Nigerian communities that I belong to. A lot of friends invite me for parties. So I can say that I party hard, I play hard.
Yes, this
So
is
I'm
this.
always choked with time, yes. So self-care is very important. And that's why I'm looking at my next phase of career, migrating from the bedside to something else will be much more favorable for me. So as I get older, I can create more time for my self-care. But I strive to also go on vacation,
Mhm.
no matter how little, go on vacation with my family, not just me, because for me alone it's not gratifying, but that
Mhm.
costs a lot of money too, which makes
Mhm.
us work long hours. So you look at it now, on the bedside, you can never have a good balance. But as much as possible, we need to refresh. So when I attend all these events, hang out with friends and family, I feel more refreshed when I come back to the bedside. And I
Mhm.
can do more in the future, but I'm not really doing well right now.
I do know, Joy. That's why I asked that question of every single nurse, because I think we really need to stop and pay attention to how we're taking care of ourselves. It's chronic among. I cannot pretend that I am also the best at taking care of myself, but we need to identify what it means to us
Absolutely.
and how are we going to go about
Absolutely.
taking care of ourselves, because otherwise we can just get swept away with all of this work, all of this taking care of everyone else. And while it is good that we can pick up extra shifts and we have the ability to earn more money and all of that, that has its downside because we tend to lean into that and say, oh, I want this, I will pick up an extra shift. And the next thing you know, you're worn out. The time has passed, you've worked 16 shifts in a row or something, and what have you done to take care of you? And so,
That's right.
that's the reason I ask that of every single nurse. And what are we doing to take care of ourselves?
Thank you
All right.
so
So
much. That is good.
yeah. And basically I think honestly that that's another reason why overall we have not been taking care of our profession because we've not been taking care of ourselves individually. And if we don't, then we can't take care of ourselves collectively. And
Yes,
this is how come we are not we're not in policy making, we're not at the table, we're spending too much time taking care of everything else other than ourselves
yes,
and our profession. So I'm when I look ahead, that's one of the things I see changing.
that's correct. Thank you.
Mhm. Joy, thank you so much for this conversation. I have truly enjoyed it. Are there any last words you'd like to leave us with?
Well, I want to say a very big thanks to you, Dale, for
Uh,
providing a platform for nurses to come and speak. Because for the longest time, we do a very important job, but people think our voices don't matter.
yes,
But now you put in your time, you put in your energy, you put in your resources so that nurses are able to come and speak. And I know that if we continue doing this consistently, definitely something will change.
yes,
So
indeed.
I want to thank you, and I say that your efforts are not in vain. You are very much appreciated. And as things continue to shift in our career, we will come back again to let them know that yes, nurses are speaking and being heard.
Thank you so much for that, Joy. I truly appreciate those words. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I hope you have a lovely day.
You
Thanks for
do the
having
very
me.
same.
Yeah,
My
I am
pleasure.
grateful. Thank you.